Tonight is October 20, 2021, and welcome to a very special edition of Manila Standard on the Road. Bakit nga ba special ngayong gabi? Malalaman nyo in just a while, but for now, I am your host, Milo Rivera, and joining me is my partner, my co-host, Mr. Randy Kaluwag. Randy, kamusta na? Good evening to you.
Good evening, champ, Milo Rivera, the ace driver. Kumusta? Ito, busy rin sa riding, no? Alam mo naman, part tayo ng Charity Riders Group ng NUCP. And we are from Team Manila. And every week, we have charity rides, no? Nagbibigay kami ng charity sa mga hirap na kailangang tulungan. And of course, congratulations! Naka 1 year na ang Manila Standard on the road, no? Congratulations sa my
partner, and that is the reason why tonight's episode is very, very special. Kasi kakasabi nga lang ni Randy, 1 year na ang Manila Standard on the road. And yun nga, marami tayong pinagdaanan, partner. Bilis-bilis nga ng panahon, di natin alam. Isang taon na pala nakalipas. We've had a lot of guests who've graced our show, gave us a lot of amazing insights, amazing stories. And ayun, nandito tayo ngayon. Saktong-sakto mamaya, maganda-gandang storya din. Pero for now, partner, pag-usapan naman siguro natin, paano ba tayo nag-umpisa dito sa Manila Standard on the Road?
Well, it all started with a dinner, no? Tapos napag-usapan na why not come up with a show that will cater to all kinds of road users, no? Hindi lang drivers, pati commuters, no? Even yung mga public, mga train system natin. So kaya nga yung mga naging topics natin, no, Milo, no, from taking care of your car, yung mga traffic violations, no, pati sa mga riders natin, we tackled yung mga issues sa mga even sa plate numbers, no. Marami tayong naging guests, sina Colonel Busita, mga racers natin, ano, lady riders, lady racers, no? Pati yung kaibigan natin yung kaibigan mo, si Jay Banson, na nag-aayos ng sakyan, tinuruan tayo, no? Paano mag-alaga ng brand new and second-hand cars.
Oo. Napaka well-rounded talaga ng show na to, partner Randy, di ba? Hindi lang siya public service, hindi lang siya informative, pati na rin yung lifestyle behind the wheel na pag-usapan din natin. At kakasabi mo nga lang, marami tayo mga naging special guests or mga guests na who gave us special insights, special stories. Like yun nga, yung mga legends of racing, yung mga champions of the future, yung mga go-kart drivers natin, si Ariana Dormitorio, si Senator Pia Cayetano. Ang dami nila talagang na-share that contributed to the success of this show and also for the information and the betterment, welfare rather, of our viewers and listeners. Kaya talagang nagpapasalamat kami sa inyo for keeping our show more than alive. And now that we're on our first year, who knows how long pa, sino pa magiging mga guests natin, ano pa yung mga papag-usapan. Excited na excited kami dyan, di ba, partner Randy?
Alam, Milo, bago natin makalimutan yung mga policy makers din natin from the government, no? Tulad ni Engineer Albert Swansing, no? From DOTR, si Gades Hoplitiran, no? And also yung mga natin from Land Transportation Office at saka Metro Manila Development Authority, no? So biruin mo, isang taon nga tayo na iba-ibang klaseng personalities yung naging guest natin.
Yun nga, ang bilis-bilis talaga ng panahon, partner. Di natin alam. Yun nga, kakasabi ko lang kanina, nag-isang taon na pala tayo. Daming mga guests na dumaan na. At sana naman, bumalik din sila as our guests again. Kasi syempre, marami rin magiging updates, maraming mga bagong pwedeng pag-usapan, even with the same guests. And we could only be more excited as this show continues to grow stronger as the weeks go by. At marami pa tayong pwedeng paggimikan nga, kumbaga partner, marami pa tayong pwedeng gimmick na pwedeng isama dyan sa dito sa Manila Standard on the Road. At yun nga, but for now, kami nagpapasalamat talaga from the bottom of our hearts here, from all of us here on Manila Standard. We could only say thank you for making Manila Standard on the Road turn 1 year. At hindi pa tapos ang pasasalamat dyan, partner, pati rin sa ating mga partners, sa mga sumusuporta ng mga car companies, katulad ng GAC Motor Philippines, Toyota Motor Philippines, Suzuki, Nissan, Cherry Cars Philippines, Photon, at Honda Cars Philippines. Ayan, partner, nagpapairam din sila ng mga kotse sa atin para i-review natin at i-enjoy din, di ba?
GAC Motor, nabanggit na ba natin yan? And mag-a-advertise pala sa atin yung mga yan, yung nabanggit mo, partner, no? And abangan nila, October 20, we will come out with a special supplement edition, no? For Manila Standard on the Road. Sa ano po natin yan, no? Sa Manila Standard newspaper, lalabas po yan yung ating special supplement for our anniversary.
Actually, lalabas yan ngayon, partner mismo, October 20, ngayon yun. So,
ngayon.
For those who haven't grabbed the copy,
grab your copies na. Yung mga kanina, nakakuha na.
Yung mga kanina umaga, maraming salamat for grabbing your copy. But if not, I'm sure may mga kopya pa dyan up for sale. Kung hindi man, just in case you missed the print version, there will always be that online version here on Manila Standard. Ayun, at saktong-sakto, partner, we here Manila Standard deliver the news as we are a news platform. So with that, we shall move on with our news roundup for this week, for tonight rather, October 20, 2021. Starting off with the DOTR eyeing different measures to halt fare increase. Now, the Department of Transportation is now proposing to increase the number of passengers allowed in public utility vehicles after DOTR Chief Arthur Tugade rejected the call for fare hike. In a press briefing, Transportation Assistant Secretary Steve Pastor said that increasing the current 50% maximum capacity in PUVs will help both commuters and drivers. Now, the proposal also lined up with the planned reopening of the economy to cater workers that cannot go to workplaces safely. Ayan. Alam naman natin, partner, na siyempre kahit nandito pa rin yung pandemic sa paligid ng ating bansa at marami pa rin na-infect at things could still get better, kailangan pa rin natin mag-move forward at tuloy-tuloy pa rin sa ating mga trabaho at kasama na rin yung pagpupunta sa kanilang mga trabaho safely. It's one thing na lumalaki na yung capacity for our public utility vehicles, pero siguraduhin pa rin natin na nagagampanan yung objective safely kahit nandito pa rin yung pandemic, di ba?
Kaya sa mga commuters natin, ayan, ingat pa rin kayo. And partner, para naman sa ating mga may sariling sasakyan, not so good news because local oil companies impose another hefty oil price hike. No? So in an announcement last Monday, the gasoline price adjustment rose by 1 peso and 80 centavos per liter, while diesel by 1 peso and 50 cents per liter, and kerosene by 1 peso and 30 centavos per liter. This is the 8 consecutive weeks that oil firms elevated the price of gasoline. This has been your top of the news here on Manila Standard on the Road. Partner, yan ang ating mga balita. Talagang tuloy-tuloy ang pagtaas ng gasolina. Talagang wala. We will never expect na bumaba yan at hindi natataas. Na talagang since way back naman talaga, puro pataas lahat. No? So expect more of this. No?
Kakasabi mo nga lang, partner, di ba? 8 straight weeks na yung price hike sa fuel, di ba? So, sana naman one of these days medyo mag-rollback tayo. Pero that's the trend right now talaga. At lalo na sa mga private vehicles dyan, nakikita na natin sa mga nakapaskil sa gasoline station. Minsan umabot na nga ng 70 pesos per liter na ang ating mga gasoline. Kaya bigat sa bulsa niyan. Yun nga, partner, galing ako kung Clark just this weekend. Yung prices ng gasolina doon nasa 54. This is premium gasolina. 54, 53. Mas mura nga. Di hamak, mas mura kaysa sa Manila. Pero kung sanay ka sa dati, pag
Yes.
tinignan mo yun, presyong Manila rin yun eh. Presyong Manila yun. So, yun nga.
Mas mura sa province, ano? Sa nearby provinces kaysa sa Manila?
Oo, mas mura talaga, partner. Pero as far as I know, dito sa Metro Manila, well, technically in the area, sa Cainta, significantly, kahit pa paano, mas mura gasolina doon. Sa Ortigas Avenue Extension area, mas mura doon. Siyempre, kung tayo, galing tayong Manila,
kaya partner, lagi ko na lang gamit yung...
Diba? Alangan namang bumiyahe pa tayo.
Kaya lagi ko na lang gamit ngayon yung motorcycle, partner, tipid.
Di ba? Di ba? Wala, ako di ako marunong magmotor katulad mo, partner.
Okay, partner. Mamaya, abangan nila sino pa ang guest natin para maabangan nila later on.
Exactly. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. The anniversary special of Manila Standard on the Road will be back in just a short while. As our guests, they are just ready to take on the platform here on Manila Standard on the Road as they just came off from a very good race weekend at the Clark International Speedway. Mga karerista, ang ating mga guests ngayong gabi, malalaman natin kung sino sila right after this break. Stick around. We'll be back. And welcome back to Manila Standard on the Road. As mentioned a while ago, this is our anniversary special. Isang taon na ang Manila Standard on the Road, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you who are just tuning in right now, we were able to give thanks to all of those for making this very show very special throughout the 1 year span. And we could only expect even better things as the show goes on. But for now, we go through our very, very special topic, or let's say segment for tonight. It's going to be a very motorsport-filled episode here on Manila Standard on the Road this 20th of October 2021. And saktong-sakto, our guests or the team for tonight that we will be interviewing, saktong galing lang sa panalo just last weekend sa Clark International Speedway. The second leg of the 2021 Toyota GR Vios Cup just concluded, and this Obengers Racing Team garnered pretty much most of the top step awards from that race. So hindi ko na patatagalin pa ang aking introduction. Joining us tonight are the Obengers Racing Team with their drivers, with their Vios Cup drivers rather. We have Estefano Rivera, Inigo Anton, Julian Colvin Tan, Joaquin Garrido, and Miss Julia de Los Angeles, as well as their team manager, Paulo Agregado, and of course, team co-principal, Mr. Richie Uy. Obengers Racing Team, welcome to Manila Standard on the road. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations on the victory. How does it feel being fresh from a good race weekend? Let's start off with Stefano.
Hello, hello. Yes, hello, Milo. Hello, everyone. First time. Anyway, yeah, it was a good weekend, not just for me, but for the team, I believe. Masaya, syempre, pero we have our third leg, the last leg, with double points in 3 weeks' time. So, of course, we will celebrate and enjoy this victory, pero syempre, in a couple of weeks, balik sa practice. So, we have to stay focused then and, yeah, push for that championship.
Okay, Stefano, you mentioned there's still one last leg coming in 3 weeks' time. But for this second leg, you were able to win 2 out of the 3 races. How does it feel being successful in that weekend, rather, and being able to prove much more your position in terms of the championship?
Well, of course, the victories felt very nice, really good, but it was also, one of our expectations, since I think from the history of Obengers Racing, we really target for the overall championship, finishing in podiums, besides, of course, enjoying ourselves. We also enjoy being competitive. So, syempre, it was really nice. It was really nice for all that our hard work and preparation to paid off in the last round to win 2 races. But just like what I said, syempre, we will use this win not to become complacent, but to use it to push us more forward for the next leg. So, yun, at least regarding the points, dikit-dikit na yung laban. So, hopefully, by the next leg, we're the ones on top naman.
I'm sure everybody in this call or in this interview wish the very same, not just for you, but also for the whole team. Moving forward, Inigo, for the sporting class, you pretty much had the same type of weekend, winning most of the races and further establishing your position in the championship. I know your main championship contenders are also on this interview, but I'll start with you. How does it feel that going through the season and with one more leg coming, your preparations, the things you need to do to further maintain the lead? How does it feel right now to be up there and being the man on target?
Well, of course, it's very good that I'm leading the championship coming into the last round, and the first 2 legs have been such an incredible just experience for me, working with the team and my teammates. Of course, even though we're battling it out on the track for the championship, we're still all working together to make sure that Obengers at least always wins. And so it's been nice to be the main guy who's leading it now, but also at the same time, I know that they're pretty quick, and with the last round being the old points, I cannot really like what Stefano said with his championship, be complacent, because anything can happen in the last 3 rounds, and it's just going to be about surviving for it. And hopefully, no matter which way it goes to the championship, hopefully it'll go to Avengers, because the team comes first before the driver in any racing. That's what everybody says, and hopefully we'll manage to keep our lead, whoever wins in the last leg.
Speaking of team, Inigo, just as you mentioned, there are 2 factors. One is your personal objective, which is to win, but also being able to do so in a team, or being able to prioritize the team at that. So I moved to Joaquin. Joaquin, Inigo's your competitor in the same category, yet at the same time you guys are teammates. For you, how does it feel to have that dynamic? Not just having a teammate who's a great driver as well, just as you, but someone who you also have to target. So how do you weigh things in terms of team and driver?
Well, it's tough. As we're competitors, we can't really be complacent with one another with our moves and on track and off track. So, uh, honestly, I don't know how we manage it because we're even though we're competitors on the track, we still want to be friends off the track. So, I would say, um, I would say na we should just work together and make sure that the team can finish 1, 2, 3 and not make that much risky moves that it would take us all out. So yeah.
Completely agree. And siguro, Joaquin, leading to the last leg, obviously the story is a bit different comparing you and Inigo. But what is your objective heading to the last leg? And if you could also talk about how your weekend went just last Sunday.
Well, last weekend didn't really go as we planned. We qualified pole, but then I had a rookie mistake coming into the first race that weekend. Well, I missed where I ruined my transmission and unfortunately had to start from the back. So our goal really for this season is just to gain as much experience as possible, as this is my first year in cars and it's also my first year driving a car and learning a manual. So this season's more about experience, and even though it's just about experience, I still hope we could finish on top. But obviously the team comes first and we'll just see what happens.
Okay, speaking of experience, Julian Colvin Tan, you are probably the eldest or the big kuya amongst the drivers here we have tonight. You are racing against Inigo and Joaquin as well in terms of the championship. Could you tell us more about how your season is going, and at the same time, what you're looking forward to as we approach the last leg of the Vios Cup?
Yeah, like you said, I may be the oldest, but I think I also have the least experience amongst my teammates. But in terms of what I'm looking forward to and how my last race was, it started off with a bang, and I don't mean that in a good way. I had an incident in practice, and I had to make the mechanics work overtime because, yeah, my car was severely damaged. But the rest of the week was about recovery, and again, like what Inigo and Joaquin said, just prioritizing team points, not taking big risks, because in the long run, it's not worth it if you try to take risks and fail. But in terms of the rest of the season, again, it's the same story. The team comes first. And more than that, it's about building a friendly environment. We're all competitors here. We all want to win, and we all, especially in the race, adrenaline is always high. But outside the car, what I like most about the Obengers is how we do foster that team environment where we're still all friendly, we're all friends, and yeah, I think the respect really is there, and that's the biggest thing.
I mean, I guess I couldn't agree more, diba? At the end of the day, it's all about building great relationships, building great camaraderie amongst everybody involved, from the drivers to the mechanics to everybody involved in the team. So I'm gonna skip you for a while, Julia, and go to Pao. It's him being the team principal. The team manager rather. Pao, you have a huge roster of drivers, not just in terms of quantity, but also in terms of quality. You being team manager, how do you get to manage these different personalities? Obviously, they're all competitors, as Julian just mentioned, and they all have that similar goal of trying to be on top. But at the same time, they're teammates, they're friends. So how do you manage that, and how do you foster that camaraderie each practice day, each race day?
In terms of practice and outside of the track, me and Roland always teach everybody the same techniques, and we also give each other, like, if in terms of Julian, I'll tell him what would be his strategy going into the race. We let them race each other. The rule is as long as they don't crash each other. If they make mistakes, they should apologize to the driver that they did something to. It's more of trying to give them a level head. With Roland, he's trying to always impart wisdom, trying to be fair, and at the end of the day, we try to impart that respect among each other. You're free to race, but you should respect each other regardless of what. And in terms of age, we really made it in the sense that they're all around the same age, so it's easier for them to relate to each other. They have similar experiences and where they are at life, so I think it translates into the track that hindi sila naiiba sa isa't isa, and they enjoy each other's company. So it's just one big family, but on the track, everybody wants to win. So we let them do that as long as they maintain that respect. And we also remind them that to maintain that respect, even though it's kind of hard sometimes in a very competitive environment.
Sabi mo nga, di ba, Pao, pantay-pantay tayo lahat regardless of who we are. And as long as there's the mutual respect on and off the track, I think things should be okay. And speaking of pantay-pantay tayong lahat, Julia, you are the lone female driver or for the team, and I guess for at the very least for this episode, diba? And you being a female driver, a young female driver, how does it feel to be going up against a field of grown men, so to speak, diba? And just like this weekend, you were able to garner your first wins in the Vios Cup, diba? So how does it feel having that sense of victory, and how do you carry that moving forward, being a female driver?
I think that on the track there really is no difference, but going against these guys, it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just crazy that us girls can go against them also. Like, we don't lack in any way, I believe. So yeah.
Mukhang medyo shy ka pa, di ba, Julia? But siguro, if you could talk about the challenges of last weekend. It's a while ago I mentioned it was your first win in the Vios Cup. How was that process like? That long wait of being behind the curtain somehow, and then all of a sudden, through putting in more work in preparation for this weekend, you finally got your win, or you finally got to step on the top of the podium.
It's so surreal. It was like I joined Vios Cup about 3 years ago, and it's only this year I was able to step on the podium, and luckily last weekend I was able to be on top. I did not expect it at all. I can't believe it. I just did everything I could, like everything in my power to like make things fall into place. I practiced really hard. I allotted more time. I tried to discipline myself, and I guess it worked out well.
Well, whatever you're doing, Julie, just keep it up, and siguro we will see you again on the top step of the promotional class, rather. So moving forward, you guys have had a good track record of wins, of race experiences, and as Pao mentioned, he's managing all of you into not just being good competitors, but also fair competitors and friends. Sir Richie, I know these are part of the core values you would want to also impart into the team. But before we go to that, how did all of this start? How did Obengers Racing start? And yun nga, very catchy pa yung pangalan, Obengers.
Yeah. Actually, it started, I think Vios Cup started 2013, 2014. So during that time, I think, if I remember right, Avengers was showing. So if I remember right, si Sir Carlos Gono ang nagbansag sa amin ng Obengers. So he was the one. Let's call us Obengers. That was Luis. Our driver was Luis that time. So I think that's where it all started.
Ito na nga, it's very catchy, not just for when you're in the Vios Cup races, but I think in general also, parang nakaka-retain yung pangalan. But aside from the name Sir Richie, what does the team truly stand for? What, aside from race victories, what is the pure essence, or what is the pure the values behind being an Obengers driver, being a member of the team?
Yeah, Obengers Racing, we really handpick our drivers. We ensure that the 8 core values of the Oben group of companies are instilled with every driver. I mean, if we see that this driver does not carry our values, as much as possible, we shy away. But we really pick our drivers specifically with our 8 core values.
And given those 4 values, sir, and right in front of us right now is your pool of drivers, very young, very talented, and very hungry, diba? What do you see in these drivers that you would say, okay, they're a perfect fit to be an Avenger?
You know what? This past weekend, I was really very proud of them. Joaquin, I remember him saying that he could have overtake Julian, but he didn't, because he didn't want to risk. He might bump him or something and risk being 1, 2, 3. So I was really happy to have heard that line from him. Him saying that. And Julia naman, Julia is she was really very nervous during the start of the race. And then she finished two first places. And the last place, she just won. But I'm just really proud. That's Julian naman. Si Julian's the very steady guy, quiet. I just race. He's a type of person na gano'n eh. Pero sobrang quiet niya, but he really does well. As he said, he has the least experience amongst all the drivers. Si Indigo naman, is very humble. He's very team oriented, and at the same time he's really good. And Steph naman, of course, with this experience, I was sure naman na he would really recover from the first leg, which he really did, which we're all really proud of him.
You mentioned Sir Richie nga, Stefano Rivera with the experience, and I think him being the longest
experience from his kuya yata, from Kuya Milo ba?
Hindi ko kilala yun eh. Hindi ko kilala yung Milo na yun. Wala yun. Walang sinabi yung Milo sa Stefano. But yun nga, Stefano, as Sir Richie just mentioned, you are, let's say, the longest tenured driver for Obengers currently. And somehow, although there's no official title to it, you are the team leader of the group we have tonight. You're not the oldest driver out there in terms of age, but in terms of experience, you've got it. So aside from being a race car driver, a very competitive one at that, you handling this team as well, being part of this team and leading and giving a good example for them. How does it feel that you get to have that sense of leadership, and how are you able to do so responsibly, or how are you able to handle that responsibility well?
Well, first it makes me feel somehow old in a way. I'm actually the veteran person in the team, pero actually makes me also feel very mature, and also gives me confidence knowing that that I have teammates that very good, not just good, but people are good teammates off the track as well, that who push each other to become better. So for me, it's also a confidence booster for me, knowing that having teammates with this caliber, and for us to have one goal, which is to win, not just win individually, but to win as a team. is something I like to build up with my teammates. So yun nga, like my other teammates say, we try to help each other, not just sa racing, pero also our bond and our chemistry with each other off the track. So yun, it feels good, makes me feel old, pero yun, at least if I would have teammates, it's nice teammates with these kids over here. Tapos Colvin. hindi na
Hindi okay. Dati na sinabi mo ng kid doon si Colvin eh. Kumambyo ka pa. But yeah, diba? Going back to you, Julian, as Stefano mentioned, age is just a number, so to speak. And then there's Colvin. But kidding aside, how are you able to impart your wisdom? Let's say, you may not have the longest experience on track, but in terms of other things in life, you've had quite a few. And we all know that motorsports is not just about being on track. So you being a kuya somehow, how do you get these kids together and get to have a great time regardless of how the races go?
I think it's all about setting an example. It's not only it's not only on the track, it's also off the track. It's what you do, how you say it. It's being calm even when tensions are high. It's being the first one to say, hey, good race. It's just setting a good example. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for that, Julian. So moving on, with the Vios Cup still having one more leg to go. We'll go through the drivers one by one, starting siguro with Julian na rin while we're here. What do you expect come the year end of the Vios Cup? What are your personal objectives or goals, given where you are in the championship right now? And at the same time, what do we want to look forward to when it comes to Julian Colvin in the world of motorsports?
Well, for me, my personal goals is to rack up as much wins as I possibly can. Right now, I'm sitting second in the standings, if I recall, and while Inigo is around 18 points away, which is quite big. It's quite big, so I have quite a lot of work to do. But in terms of motorsports as a whole, it's to really explore what's out there, not only in the world of Vios, but also in V1, maybe rallying one day, and so on. But I will always want to be a part of Obengers because of, again, the team chemistry. I think we have maybe one of the strongest team chemistries out there, and it's just such a fun and good group to be with, where everyone just pushes each other and there isn't much tension. So I'm very happy and proud of that.
It's really warming to know how you're enjoying your time with the team, especially with the competition that's brewing at the same time. You're having a great time, and you're doing so with a smile on your face. So to you, Joaquin, what should we expect from you from the end of the Vios Cup season, and what are your plans in terms of your motorsports career? You're very young, very ripe in talent. What should we look forward to? Joaquin Garrido.
Well, my main objectives for this season is just to gain as much experience as I can, and hopefully carry it to the next season of Vios Cup or wherever I go. So our main objective is just to finish in the top 3, because the past few races haven't been the best, with one DNF and one last position starts. I guess it's kinda a long stretch to win the championship. So our main objective is just to learn as much as we can from this season, and hopefully carry it out to the other forms of motorsports that I would do in the future.
Well, I guess I should also mention that you and Inigo are not just active in actual motorsports, but also in online racing and digital racing. Could you and Inigo, siguro, as your parting words also, could tell us how are you able to juggle both races? What does one benefit from the other, and vice versa? And what are your plans and objectives also in terms of both online and actual racing? Sige, we'll start with you.
Well, it's tough to juggle, but doing both gives us a wider scope on what's happening around us. So, sim racing is mostly for improving our racecraft and improving our knowledge of the tracks and the cars. So, I guess it's just a matter of improving your skills in the real life, in the real thing. So, yeah.
And for you, Inigo, siguro before you answer the question, you also have a lot of things to look forward to in terms of your sim racing and also your actual racing. And as Julian just mentioned a while ago, you are leading the championship in the sporting class. So, what are your objectives? What are your goals? What are your preparations at that as well, coming into that last leg? And what else is in store for Inigo Anton?
So yeah, coming into the last leg, it's gonna be a very interesting fight among us teammates, and it's gonna be very fun and interesting. It also being double points, it brings something new to the table compared to the last two rounds. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what will be there. For me, coming into this next leg, I'm gonna treat it the same way as I've always treated my previous races, both in real life and in the sim world, because sometimes it's a championship round, you'll overthink it, you'll get so pressured, and you'll just crack under pressure during the race. So my practice, my how focused I am during the race, it's all going to be the same, because I don't want to change anything different and result in a bad race. So I'm gonna treat it the same way for this last leg, and for the past 2 legs, it's been such a fun experience. So just looking to have more fun and more good experiences in the Vios Cup.
Amazing answer, Nico. Thank you so much. Julia, you finally garnered your first win. What else are we expecting from you, or what are we hoping from you with one more Vios Cup leg to go, and siguro the races that are coming your way in the future? Now that you have that win, what can you do now, or what should we expect as you want to try and build more wins?
So since I was able to get my first win, it really made me believe in myself more. Like, it showed me that I can do it also. So hopefully in the next few races, we'll be able to get the top spot again. Well, not just for me, but for the team as well, because we also have the team championship. So hopefully we get that too.
Yun nga. And saktong-sakto nga, it's all for the team as well, as you mentioned. It's nice to know that you're putting a lot of importance to the team, to the whole group, and that's very warming to know from you as well. Stefano, last question. Ano ba? Maging super sporting champion ka na ba this year after the longest time sa Vios Cup? Prangka na sa prangka.
Well, that's always been the target. Even since I started 2016 or 2015, it's always been the target for me to win the Vios Cup championship. Pero yun nga, this year, of course, I wouldn't say pressure, pero syempre it's also my expectation for myself, and also I guess being in Obengers, the expectation to win the overall championship. That's not just for the super sporting class, pero what Julia said, the team championship as well. So yun, hopefully we can bag it, but of course I also don't want to put too much pressure on ourselves. Where I know we will do it the right way, but also the fun way, wherein we will enjoy ourselves and not put winning above enjoyment.
I mean, I guess kidding aside, we both know, or all of us know, that talent, driving skill can only take us so far, and there are also other factors that contribute to success and defeat. But with that, we hope that you, Stefano, and the whole Obengers Racing Team get to achieve your objectives for this year, and also achieve your plans for what's to come. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. But before we end, may we have a few words from Sir Richie, this is the perfect time to thank everyone for being behind Obengers Racing for all this time. And if there's also something we would also look forward to for Obengers Racing and also for the Oben Group, here's the perfect opportunity to do so, sir.
Yeah, of course. First of all, we'd like to thank all of the followers and followers of Obengers Racing. You know, it was our team principal and team owner and president, Sir Cosco Oben's birthday last Monday, and he said to the team, his wish was to get those podium finishes, and I'm sure he was really very happy that all of these guys here went to the podium. We had a lot of wins last weekend, and with those wins, I am really excited going to the third leg because, of course, our drivers are very highly motivated because of these wins. So I hope that they carry this to do the third leg and continue our winning streak. With regards to Obengers Racing, of course, we'll still be here next year. But as to who our drivers will be, siguro we'll just let's wait and see. We have to, let's finish first this season, and then maybe we can plan after. So si Steph kasi kailangan niya manalo this season. Kasi, di ba, Steph?
Matanda na.
Matanda na.
8 points down, Steph. Kaya. As I said, going to the third leg, parang back to zero. Kasi sobrang dikit-dikit yung points eh. So talagang every race counts. So good luck, guys. And let's get the team championship. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Milo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richie. And based on from what you said, we could only wish for great things for each of your drivers and for the whole team as well. But at the same time, it's very warming, very fulfilling to know that regardless of what's going on in terms of result in the races, all of you guys are enjoying each other's time with very fondly, and it's nice to know that being part of Obengers Racing Team is more than just being able to win, but being able to be part of a very, very solid, nice, great group. And from all of us here in Manila Standard, we thank you for joining us and for being part of our first anniversary special. And we look forward to seeing you guys all again. And sana mabalitaan namin come the last leg of the Vios Cup, kayo nga ang team champion, and yung mga drivers nyo rin will do their best and garner their respective victories. With that, thank you so much once again, Obengers Racing. And this concludes another episode of Manila Standard on the Road. We would like to thank Stefano Rivera, Inigo Anton, Julian Colvintan, Joaquin Garrido, Julia de Los Angeles for joining us tonight. And of course, their team manager, Mr. Paulo Agregado, and their co-principal, Sir Richie Uy. Yung medyo highlight ko sa episode na to, si Julian talagang Southern cool California guy. Mag-Tagalog ka naman dyan ng konti.
I tried, but
ayaw talaga.
Can you say adobo?
Wala. Ayaw talaga, gigitiyan lang talaga tayo eh. But one of these days, I will try to get you to speak Tagalog in public, whether it's online or basta outside the race siya, ako bala sa'yo, Julian. But kidding aside, thank you so much for joining us on Obengers Racing, and we look forward to seeing you all again. This time with even more victories and more great successes and more great stories at that. And that concludes our very special first anniversary edition of Manila Standard on the Road. We would like to thank our guests for tonight, but more than anything, we would like to thank every single person who made this show what it is right now. First year na tayo, tatagal pa to sigurado. But for now, it's time to say goodnight. But regardless, always share, like, and comment anything Manila Standard on the Road or Manila Standard in general. This is Milo Rivera saying good night. Thank you so much and always, always, always be safe on the road.